for you. Yes, I do. I'm like your angel of love, girl. I've come to see you through. So when you cry, let me wipe your tears. When you're scared, I wanna be there to calm your fears. When you're in need, baby, ring my phone. I'll run right over and we'll make love all night long.
Hello.
So wait a minute, what happened? Where did Sean go?
We are live without Sean.
My kind of show.
That's what I'm talking about. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from the cave, Chicago. Are you ready? I've got Mel Robeson, Glenn Murray, and then we're going to have another guest.
Bobbie G is his name. And one of these days, Sean will be joining us as well. We don't know when. You know, we can only hope and pray that he won't. And that would be nice, and we could start the show.
So if we don't have them, we can expect not to have a filibuster.
So I've got some questions that I've already prepared just for this situation.
Really? You were waiting on Sean to be out. All right, so we know what happened to Sean. Robert did something and sabotaged his system. So that's what happened. I think we should introduce our guest, Robert, since you're taking over the show. Go right ahead.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have for you the one and only
Bobbie G.
Bobbie G. That's what I'm talking about.
It's been a while since we had a guest in the cave, but tonight we have Bobbie G. That's right, brother right here. Got a podcast, but he's also an author. Got a nice little look there. Got his little Les Brown going. He also got his family involved. How to Catch the Big Fish. I believe his son wrote that one. This, well, hey, the love affair. But he does have a bestseller. This one is just flying off the shelves. If you get that successful, what do? You strike a pose, of course. Get your hand in your pocket. Rub them two nickels together. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the cave, Bobbie G.
Wow, nice. Good evening,
Man,
gentlemen.
that was sweet, Bobbie.
Hey, I appreciate it. That was really nice. That's a good welcome there.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, man.
We are excited to have you.
For those of you that might be joining us for the very first time on Live from the Cave, this show was sparked out of the pandemic. It was a bunch of guys that got together and with the help of executive producer Keisha Rose and Indie TV, had this talk show. We are not going to count Glenn in that. And so we started this talk show during the pandemic, and it literally got us through the pandemic. We got together every Thursday night for about an hour and had an opportunity to speak unencumbered. And recently, we went to WGN TV. So we air on WGN and the CW in Houston on Saturday mornings, currently at 4:30 a.m. So DVR it so that you can watch it. Or get up at 4:30 and watch it. Either
They're working out. They're probably up.
Yeah. Anyway, that's nice, Mel. Thank you very much for that. And we appreciate that you remember that. Bobbie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on the show tonight. I currently work in corporate America in the pharmaceutical industry, which I've been doing for the past 18 years. And I've had a measure of success, and I'm trying to, kind of wind down my career and then find other things to do as far as to generate income. And so this is one of the reasons I got into writing. I've completed 5 books, written, edited, and published 5 books. I have 2 more in the works right now, and I operate my podcast also, and everything can be found on my website at smashnickels.com.
So basically, you funded your books with drug money.
Well, pretty much with drug money. With drug money. Legal drug money. Let's be clear on that.
Sure, Bobbie. Whatever helps you sleep better at night.
So Bobbie, we normally ask a couple of different questions.
Sure.
And so are you single? You married?
I'm married.
Oh, okay, you're married. Okay.
I'm married.
So that helps, because I was going to fire some questions at you,
Uh-huh.
but I don't want you to have to sleep on the couch tonight. So,
well, no, it's okay. It's okay. I understand that, this is a public conversation that we're having, so I'm open.
So we got two married guys on the call,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got two single guys.
Okay.
So it's balanced right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good thing. Glenn, you got something to say? You look like you want to say something.
There is so much I want to say to you, Robert, but I'm going to let you answer the questions right now. Most of it will be reserved for after the
show. So actually, Sean Mason was supposed to be joining us. I don't know where he went, but they may let him in at some point. But I did not have any questions that I wanted to ask.
You didn't have any. You said you had some questions in the green room, John. I mean, you're Robert, Sean.
Yeah,
I'm the same thing, basically.
All right. So
now, what's on your mind?
Are we just going to recant the talk show, or
yeah, basically what we're going to do?
So let's go ahead and jump into some topics, man. I don't know if you all saw this, but there was a police officer, and was it where was she at? But anyway,
police officer.
Yeah, a woman police officer who basically assaulted a guy who was changing his tire, walked up on him, and tased him, put him in handcuffs, put him on the hood of her car, found a gun on him, which in Alabama, it's legal to carry a gun. I believe it's Alabama. Tased him again, called him all types of expletives, said, "Stop crying like a little bee," and didn't know that his brother was recording. And so what ended up happening was there were some drug charges that were put on him where he didn't have any drugs, and some other things that were in the initial report. But then all of those things, the prosecutor or the district attorney ended up saying, no contest to this, no contest to this, which dropped his bond from $500,000 to $5,000, which everything will eventually get thrown out. But she's just on administrative leave. Mm-hmm. And it's another example of how this country treats Black men, and there are no repercussions for police officers most of the time.
So this is in Alabama?
Yeah, I believe it's in Alabama. I'll look for it while we
okay. Yeah, Alabama makes Arkansas look like California. So I'm not surprised.
Unfortunately. Yeah, what was kind of interesting that she has a history of, abusing people like that. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that she did the taser with the guy and like Mel said, he was changing his tire.
His own tire on his own car.
His own tire. It wasn't like she said, "Well, you know what? Let me call a tow service. Let me call AAA and help you out."
How about let me see if he owns the car? Maybe just ask for it.
Yeah. Well, they did say that she asked for his license or something, mm-hmm. And he's like, "Why do I have to give you my license to change a tire? Like, I didn't get pulled over. I didn't do anything wrong, And that's when the party began.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sean, glad you could join us. That's not excuse tardy. You know that's about 6. You get 6 tardies, you're fired. So that's about 5 right there.
Is going to be done.
Thanks for joining us.
I do apologize. I don't know what's going on, but did you miss me?
Well, we know you're trying to pull a David Ruffin. We know what you're trying to do, David.
What'd you say?
Did you try and pull a David Ruffin? Come to the show later. I'm Sean Mason.
I know you Negroes don't need me, nor do you even want me. So no, that definitely wasn't what was going on.
So Robert had a whole list of questions that he forgot, Sean. So that's your cue to go ahead and do your host thing.
Well, real quick, Mel, back to the question, the point you're making about the police officer. The question I have is anyone surprised that happened?
Well,
I'm more surprised.
That's a tough one, Bobbie, because in a sense, I was kind of surprised. I was kind of
Okay.
surprised that police officers are there to serve and protect, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. And he probably, like I would have, if they had came up behind me, I would have been like, okay, officer, I can't get this lug nut off.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me? Can you help me with this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would have thought that I was going to get, kicked around and beat up and
They
even
generally don't tase old guys, Rob.
The heart might go out or something.
Pacemaker.
Yeah. So that's my thing.
Okay.
I would have probably thought something else.
Okay.
From what I understand, though, she has been
Right.
placed on administrative leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah, administrative leave is like a slap on the wrist.
Right.
Here's my thing: if you're a cop, with several incidents where you've used excessive force, you've been wrong.
Her
you've been
whole
sued.
energy though was so bad.
Oh, now we can hear you, Sean.
Oh, you lost me?
Yeah,
For a
we
minute.
lost.
Go ahead.
Her energy was so bad. I mean, it was almost malicious, when she had him on the hood, and I was just like, man, this is way past doing your job right here. This is, this is probably making you warm in places that we can't talk about, on WGN, like the way she was going about it. It was,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was a little much, and I don't know if it was the overpowering of a man who was 2-3 times her size or what, but you guys probably covered this when I was kicked out, but she didn't know his brother was in the car filming.
Mm-hmm.
She probably would have conducted herself, a bit differently, but I would certainly like to see
Go ahead.
Robert, I can tell that's you because you're smiling.
Finish your thought.
But yeah, so I certainly intend to follow it to see how aggressive they are about disciplining her, because that was just way out of control, man.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about it, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, the interesting thing for me is in our society, especially here in America, we're constantly reminded of things like this that happen all the time. It's almost like every month or every quarter we see acts like this from our law enforcement. And I'm pro law enforcement. I'm supporting our law enforcement, but there are some bad apples that spoil a whole bunch and give this negative image, and it kind of puts that fear in our minds. I think everyone in this group is probably over 40 years old, so we've probably experienced and seen some things in our lifetime. My stance is that I operate under the assumption that something could go wrong. So I'm gonna try to take all precautions to make sure if I'm on the side of the road or if I get pulled over, I have my information ready, available. So when they walk up, they're gonna get a folder with all of my information. Here you go. Take everything you need. I'm just trying to get home, or whatever the case may be.
You said a folder, huh?
A folder. Yes.
By the way,
hate to take it on a
racial term, but I was watching something not too long ago, and they were talking about how when the black person experiences the police, behind them, there is always an element of concern.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you've done something wrong. There's an element of wrong being placed on you,
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't even deserve, based on who the officer might be. Whereas people that aren't people of color,
Mm-hmm.
they see the police behind them and they feel protected.
Right.
And I've always thought to myself, man, wouldn't that be nice to see the police behind me and feel protected?
Right.
Because I have a lot of friends that are on the job, and I respect the police quite a bit, but that doesn't, like you said, Bobbie, there's a lot of bad apples, and that doesn't change the reality that there are a lot of bad apples. And I think we're all concerned with what the training looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and whether the training is really being received. Because at the end of the day, it's not like you can always smile for the camera and say what you need to say when you need to say it, knowing that, in your heart, you have a different agenda.
Right.
So even when we talk about the training piece, there's only so much that can even do, because I'm a firm believer, and this sounds kind of morbid, but I'm a firm believer that there are people that spent their childhood and early years choosing those careers just so that they could do people, wrong and not be held accountable for it. And so that's your goal. When you get tested in those training places, you're going to say what you need to say and do what you need to do, because you got a long-term goal in mind, so
right.
It's no different than anything else.
So do you think, guys, by the way, Bobbie, I'm 39. I know you talked about people 40 and older.
Times two.
But I'm curious. Do you think now that social media has given us the catalyst to be able to record stuff, that is making a difference or not making a difference in terms of what we see?
Well, I think it's a double-edged sword. If we can go back in history, we look at the first dose of reality TV. Did anybody know what the first dose of reality TV was?
The Rodney King.
Rodney King. Right. And that created, I don't want to call it a revolution, but it created a new way of policing the police. And now social media is at an all-time high where we can record things even without eyeglasses. So we're almost looking for things to happen so we can record it, and then it makes us popular. If I put out a post of I see someone beating someone up and I post that on my page, then Bobbie gets so many likes and hits for that. But in reality is a person is still being abused or being taken advantage of, and we're not looking at the big picture there. I think it's two things we really need to focus on. Voting, and I don't want to turn this into a political thing, but a lot of times in our community, we only vote when it comes to the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Local elections is what really counts, because this is where our judges, this is where our law enforcement is put into office. And if you got the good old boys who are constantly staying there and they're just reelected and reelected and reelected because we don't take the time to go and vote from the local elections, nothing is going to ever change.
Yeah, that's actually something that Glenn stresses quite heavily, on the show, is that we've got to take these local elections a lot more seriously than we've been taking them. And then another thing I wanted to say in terms of like a video like that, the other thing is that with this wave of people being recorded the way they are, oftentimes it's just like the way we get a sound bite, and the sound bite is taken out of context. Oftentimes there are video snippets that can be taken out of context as well. And so, we see the hyped up piece of this footage, and then we base an entire narrative on what we've seen. And in actuality, there's a whole lot more to it. Now, what I think is interesting about that is that I was watching a video about the incident you guys were talking about, and the gentleman that was hosting this excerpt was saying that you should see the video prior to, and I was like, my heart sank. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna make what she did justifiable. But in actuality, he was saying the exact opposite. He was saying all he was doing was changing his tire, and he told her, why do I need to give you my driver's license? I'm just changing a tire,
Yeah, but I mean, even if he had said something to tase somebody in handcuffs who's not resisting, not moving, not fighting you, you find a gun and you're like, oh yeah, like you're excited about it.
Man, that's what I'm saying. It seems so malicious, dude. You can't tell me that she wasn't having some orgasmic feelings, because she was like, it was very personal. She's like, oh yeah, oh.
I got a question.
I'm afraid of it, but go ahead.
How do y'all feel about the BBL revolution?
Oh, I saw something about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
How do you feel about the BBL revolution?
Did you see Stephen A. Smith's thing, or did you see somebody else's?
No. I'm not a Stephen A. Smith fan at all.
Me either. But I came across a video of his, but I also came across a video of some guys talking about it, and it's actually twofold. So why don't we just kind of move with what how Mel delivered it, because I wanted to talk about it too, but it also had a bit of a spinoff of it. So
how funny the two of you wanted to talk about butts.
Right. Well, we would have expected that from Sean, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have expected that from him.
Robert, you're not a fan of booties? Is that what you're saying?
I love booties.
Right. So yeah. So stand down.
You cannot lie.
Others can't deny. So are you a fan of those, Mr. Hazard? I think I overheard that Bobbie was married, so I'm gonna be careful. But
no, I'm still a man. I'm still a man.
Okay, all right, hey man, because you can't sleep on my couch tonight, Doc. I don't. Robert, what do you think, man? Are you a fan of BBLs or what?
I'm really not a fan, to be honest with you. You know, I think that we've gone overboard.
You're not a fan of big beautiful lips.
Big beautiful legs.
Yeah,
big beautiful legs.
If we talking about lips, yeah, but you know,
big beautiful lips. Oh no, not that. Okay,
Robert, you almost sounded freaky with that. You was like, yeah,
yeah. His voice got all deep.
Right, we uncovering the inner freak in Mr. Hazard.
But
so you're not a fan of them.
No, I'm not.
His inner freak was thinly veiled.
Glenn, what about you? Well, Mel introduced it, but he didn't say what he thought of it.
Yeah, I know. He just threw the rock.
Right.
Well, I think that
threw the rock in the pond.
I think that they have been glorified so much and socialized or put in the social sector so much that a lot of women think that that's the thing that they need to do in order for a man to find her attractive. Now, in some cases, women have, or people, it's not just a woman thing, because, you know, there are various plastic surgeries that men have too. But since we're talking about BBLs, but there are some cases where women are just like, you know, I'm tired of having a little butt. I want to do it. And they find the cheapest route, and those don't look very good. And
risky health-wise.
You know, and super. I mean, I know somebody whose sister almost died.
Right.
Wow.
You know, doing this thing.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, man, you know, can you be happy with what you got and just work hard, do some squats or something, you know what I'm saying, to make it happen. At the end of the day, it's their body. You get to do to your body whatever you want to.
Right.
But I'm just not a fan of implants and all of that stuff. I think it's a major risk. And I also didn't know that with breast implants, they only last for about 10 years and you got to go have another surgery.
Yeah.
Like,
they can puncture and drain, and you have to have emergency surgery if they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another spin on that I want to get into, but I want to get Bobbie's take on the BBLs before I do that. Hopefully your wife has like gone to the ladies' room or something. What do you think about the BBLs, Bobbie?
Well, I feel if a person wants to make enhancements to themselves, then they have the right to do that. I'm happy and satisfied with who I'm married to. And so
you better be right now on this show. I tell you that much.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
but it doesn't you know, distract me or bother me. But I do think a person has the right to you know, if they want to make the enhancements to make themselves look better and feel better and get the attention, hey, go for it.
Now,
there are risks that are associated with it.
Yeah. Now, what I find interesting is, you know, as we get older, we discover as men how common the journey of breast cancer is for women, and so it's like, if it's a cosmetic thing, then you process it a bit differently versus, you know, if you know, a part of your body tried to kill you, you know, and you need to cut it off. That's very different, you know. And so I've had a number of experiences dating women that were survivors, and that doesn't, maybe because of the backstory, it doesn't bother me at all. I have an ex in my past who suffered with alopecia, really, really bad. And so she always wore weaves, and it never bothered me because I guess because I had a meaningful reason behind why she had made the choice, and it wasn't strictly cosmetic or whatever, and I didn't have to process that. And I think a lot of times women don't necessarily know that a lot of men process those decisions as attention seeking, and so then we have to decide how much attention you need, and are we ever going to be able to give you enough attention if you are going to the extent of having your body cut on, right? But when Mel asked the question, I had a twofold question behind that, because I wanted to ask you guys, do you think, and I'm just going to call it what it is and say it like I want to say it. Men oftentimes, Glenn, I see you. Hide your kids, hide your wife. What men typically enjoy playing with is not necessarily what men want to keep for life.
Oh boy, I thought you were going somewhere else.
You saw I said,
"Oh." Well, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not answering.
And so I really want to ask you guys this question: do you think we have confused women by pursuing what we enjoy in the short term, and them interpreting it as if we are pursuing what we want in the long term? Because you will hear, women already take a lot of liberties in telling you what men want, right? Which I don't get. Like, how would you know? But men like BBLs, and they like this and they like that, and a lot of the stuff that I hear them talk about is stuff that we like. You know what I'm saying? We'll do, we'll enjoy, we'll have some fun with, but it's not what we're looking for the long haul, for the duration. So have we in some way confused women by our pursuit of what we like in the short term, and them processing that as if it's what we want in the long term?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Come on, Bob. Yes, sir.
First, I have a question. The young lady you dated, was her name Jada?
Wait a minute. See, I wasn't gonna act up tonight.
I have to ask that question because it's a small world. We don't know.
Wait a minute, y'all. Here we go. Woo! Wait a minute. Here we go.
Okay. All right.
One more time for good minute. All right.
Okay, so her name was not Jada. Okay, we got that clear.
Right.
I just think as we get older, I think it's different stages we go through our 20s. Yeah, we want the rock hard bodies and the BBLs and all that's attractive. But as you mature and you have children, you have family, and you look at if your spouse, your significant other, she has children, you see how her body changes. And a mature mind would appreciate what she has gone through, and that makes you love them even more.
Right, but Bobbie, we know that. The five of us sitting here know that. It seems that the women don't know that. They think that that's what we want for the long haul.
Maybe
because the women realize, and to answer your question, no, we don't confuse them. The women realize that they have a window that they're operating in. If you take a 35-year-old woman right now who's single, she's not competing against other 35-year-olds. She's competing against 21, 22-year-olds to catch that guy.
See, so, I don't know that I agree with that, because for me, in her age range, a guy that's 35 that's looking at a 22-year-old is looking to play. He's not typically not looking to hold on.
But the playground is a lot bigger now, Sean, and all you dirty old men are out there loving the Instagram models. I see you, Robert. hearts from your grandma. You see
It's a big playground.
put hearts in the comments, and ooh, you look beautiful, and so wonderful. You know what you dirty old men do? I'm young and clean, so I'm not a dirty old man.
Well, first of all, I may be a dirty old man, but be clear, I was dirty as a young man. So what you're saying,
you just been dirty from day one.
right? I just been dirty from day one.
Dirty.
Yeah, but I still, you know, I guess I'm not agreeing with you guys in that respect, because I do think that there is a big difference in how it's perceived from the woman's side in terms of what they think we are looking for and what they think we want and value. Like you, they're not quick to say, oh, he wants a woman. Men want a woman that can cook. That's not what they think. They think, you know, men want a woman with a BBL and a big booty and TNA, and you know what I'm saying. That's just you.
I don't know. You got me thinking. Is it our responsibility to be able to help the women understand what we want?
Absolutely, I think it is.
And that it's okay. I mean, it's, you know, case in point. I know a woman that, you know, we talking about, you know, the BBLs, but there's weaves, there's other things that are out there, right? We talked about the breast implants, but there's so many women out here now that wear weaves, and nothing wrong with it, ladies. Don't come after me. But I'm saying though, if you've seen those women without the weave on, you see their beautiful hair, right? So do we have the responsibility there too to be able to say, you know what? I think you look great without the weave.
I think you mean well, and I think your heart is in the right place when you say that. But I think we aren't able to control how a woman perceives herself. And so while we're able to appreciate her natural beauty, she may walk out into the world and feel like she is deficient without all those bells and whistles. Because I got you, brother. Because I've actually dated a lady who she had like skin issues, and so she used to wear just makeup. I couldn't wear a white shirt, makeup every place. And I would tell her, hey, I love you. You know, I think you should let your skin breathe, give your skin some healthy time. But she was so preoccupied with her presentation that she wasn't able to do that, despite me telling her, I think you're beautiful, despite what your skin looks like. Come on, Mel.
The other part we got to look at too is some of these weave situations are protective hairstyles.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
You know, if women are putting their hair up for the winter because they can't wet it and put their products in and go outside because they'll be popsicles within 15 seconds, and you know there's a cause for them to do something to still look and feel attractive without having, I mean, natural hair from somebody that has 2 daughters and a wife that has natural hair. It's one of those things where you learn, and we can say, oh, you know, I don't like weave, and you know, women should wear their hair and all of that. But that's easy when we only got to go to the barber, you know, every other week and get a hair. Well, in you guys' case, they can't.
Whatever.
But it's just different. It's different for us. Our maintenance is way different as well. And I think sometimes we get so caught in the time that it takes, and you know, you got to put your face on, and you don't feel right without your face and all of that other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, who's the person at the core? Now, I'm not a big makeup person. My wife always, when she talks about makeup, I'm like, baby, put some lip gloss on, let's go. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do all that. You know, you married, come on. But if she feels a particular way or wants to do it or whatever, is, you know, it's not, she's not overbearing with it. Personally, my pick wouldn't have been somebody that is like heavy makeup.
Right.
But I understand it better now. And and Dale Carnegie taught us to seek first to understand before we are understood. And I look for that now.
I also think that we don't acknowledge enough just the pressure that is put on women from a day-to-day basis in terms of their presentation and what they look like. You know what I'm saying? Like that is something that's a constant, something that they have to carry, that we have no idea what it looks like. You know what I'm saying?
And we also need to understand the value of complimenting a woman when she's not feeling that she's looking her best.
Exactly.
Women have an innate beauty that we see, and sometimes we see it beyond the hair, beyond the makeup. There are women that are beautiful that don't need makeup, but they may like makeup, and that's their choice, and I'm fine with that.
Right.
But as long as you can see what their true beauty is, and you can recognize that, and you can compliment them, I think that can help them get past whatever they're seeing the old men chasing the 25-year-old, and they're feeling like they got to catch up or something, because you don't. You're beautiful at whatever age you're at.
Right.
You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Your beauty comes from within. It's not just what we see on the screen. It's who you are.
The problem, I think that's a great point, but I also think that society gives us a definition of what beauty is. Right. And if you don't look like a Kardashian, which is considered now the beauty, that's the look that every woman should have to be considered beautiful, then you're second or third tier. And I totally disagree with that. But there was a study that was done with children, and they had and I'm quite sure you're familiar with this here. We had black children,
white doll,
black children, the black doll, white doll, and which is what is beautiful and what is ugly, what is good, what is bad. And it's something that's in us that's already determining what is good, what is beautiful, what is bad.
I think that's socialized though, bro. I don't think that was something that was in us. I think that's something that was socialized for those children to pick that. Because you also have situations where you'll see a little black kid and white kid hug each other and play with each other, not knowing about discrimination, segregation, racism, or any of those things. A little black kid crying, a little white kid comes over and picks him up, hugs him, whatever. So I think those things, those good or bad things, those children in that study were old enough where it had been socialized from their norms or from their surroundings, rather, to think a particular way about skin tone.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I taught at the end of the day, it's whether it's taught in the home or taught, in the school or interactions or through media somehow. I mean, it's a taught mechanism. You know what I'm saying? So
we lost your audio. I mean, your video, by the way.
Yeah. I know that. But yeah. So, hey man, I want to switch gears a little bit. And I want to play something for you all, and you give me your thoughts on it. Robert, why are you grinning? You make me feel really uncomfortable. I feel like you're like mocking me.
I'm not mocking. I'm used to you wanting to play something. Now that you've got your soundboard and everything, I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah. Okay. So check this out, and I just want you guys to tell me what you think of it. All right.
And the study went something like this. They asked the research subjects a simple question. The question they proposed was, you're looking for work, and you have two job offers. Okay. Job offer A is going to pay you $100,000 per year, but your coworkers will make $200,000 a year. Job offer B is going to pay you $50,000 a year in a company where your coworkers make $25,000 per year. The professors found that fully 50% of Americans choose job B. It's actually at the heart of a lot of what's wrong in America, because these people don't want to do better themselves. They actively want someone else to be doing worse than them. It's not.
Your thoughts, guys. Come on with it.
I want to see that case study. I saw that earlier today. And the first thing that I thought was cap. Lies. Like, bro, there's no way. Well, let me not say there's no way. I think I'd be hard pressed to find somebody that says, take a job for 50 or take a job for 100. And I'm going to choose 50 just as long as these other people make
somebody else making half the news.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So I'm going to cut my salary by by half just so I can make more than other people because I just want to be better. Really?
Nah. Nope.
Yeah. Now I felt like, well, you guys go ahead. Bobbie, what did you think?
No, I totally agree with Mel there. I wouldn't, yeah, like I said, cap, but the young folks say that's cap. Yeah,
that was
that's
funny. Just to hear
ball
Mel say
cap,
cap was
that's baseball cap. That's
all
all kinds of cap. Yeah.
Robert, what do you think?
I'm the same way. I mean, when I heard it, I'm like, nope.
So I do think that people want to feel superior to other people. I think that point is valid.
That is.
I don't think they would do it at the sacrifice of $50,000.
$50,000, yeah,
Just to say, they make less than me here.
Right. There are people, and that's kind of a root for racism. People need somebody that they can look down on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I don't think it comes to that when it comes to salary, though.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you guys. I thought that it was crazy because I ain't giving up that degree of money. Not for that, right? But it did make me think about the mechanics of racism in a sense. Because oftentimes, especially in this era of in the MAGA era, right? A lot of his policies and stuff, they don't benefit people that aren't people of color, but I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, so they don't benefit people of color, but because the people that aren't people of color are so excited to have somebody beneath them, right? They accept those policies. It's almost like my older brother says a lot of Trumpers vote their hate and not their interest. So it made me feel like there are times when your desire to put yourself above the next will make you willing to make sacrifices. Now that amount of money is a huge sacrifice, and it's not one that I would be willing to make, right? But I think there are times when that innate human desire to elevate yourself over other people will make you willing to make sacrifices like that, just because in your mind you're elevating yourself over someone else.
Well, I mean, ignorance will make you vote totally against what your best interests are. Right. Ignorance will make you hate people for the simple fact of the color of their skin. Ignorance will make you hate people for their socioeconomic status. Ignorance will make us hate our own people. Because we don't want to see them do something different, right? Sometimes, right. I mean, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror about that too. When you talk about support, when you look at who supports you on certain things that you do, they don't always look like you.
Right. Indeed.
So, hate and wanting to be superior are real human emotions, and humans are a fickle people. So people will not clap for you just because they remember they grew up with you and went to the same high school. So now here you are doing better. What do you think you're doing, Mel?
Yeah.
You're better than me now. You're speaking. You got a speaker bureau. You got a wife. You got all this stuff. And I'm not cheering for you. I knew you when you was a thug in high school. Whenever you were a thug, you might not have been a thug. You know what I'm saying?
My moments.
Yeah, exactly. People remember that moment, and they don't want to see the male that's in the suit. They want to see the male from wherever they remember male, because people want to keep you wherever they saw you that made them be able to look at you like this. Because when I have to look up at you, then I have a problem with it.
Hey man, we got about 15 minutes left, and there's something that I saw that I really, really wanted to share with you guys, and I held it to be the last thing that we talk about, and hopefully the 15 minutes will be enough for us to hash it out. But again, you know me and my clips, I'm going to play something for you, and I just want your take on it. All right, here we go.
High tech Sean. I like high
One
tech.
that throws off most men from their purpose is women. And it's a hard balance, man, because we all want that attention, admiration, affection, adornment from women. But man, if you don't balance that shit out correctly, like it'll ruin your career. And then also, when you lose your focus, they stop focusing on you. The number one thing that throws off most men from their purpose is women.
All right, I think you got the gist of
Did he say women is the number
No,
one
I
thing
didn't- I
to
didn't
throw men off for their purpose?
Yeah, he was saying women. Yeah, he was saying
Oh.
women. And so I guess I will. I'll hit the married brothers first. Bobbie, you think there's some truth to that? And I don't think he means that in a malicious way.
Yeah, because they sound a little scorned. I think if a man know his purpose,
he doesn't mean it in a malicious way. I think he means that your attention is divided. You know, you have the woman of your affection, and you want to be everything to her. You want her to champion you and admire you, and that takes an investment as well. And so for all of the time that you are investing into her and what you want her perception of you to be, you know, you're pulled away from some of the goals and things that you have on the table. That's the way I interpreted it. Not like, you know, women are evil, they want you to fail. No,
right.
Yeah.
Right. But clearly he wasn't saying that, but I definitely got the gist of it. And I think from a married perspective, it's good to have that partner that helps you remain focused, and they understand what your true nature is and your true drive is and what your goals are. As a husband, you have awesome responsibility as a protector, provider, you know, to make sure that things are secure. And it's easy to become sidetracked because you got things out there in this society like BBLs and cops that have gone rampant and, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on in life. But we have to remain focused because our task is bigger than us now. If I was single and didn't have any children, then I could, you know, live carefree. But as a married man, I have several weights on my shoulders that I just cannot afford to, you know, to let one of those weights fall to the wayside.
Sure. Mel, what do you think? I mean, you're newly married. You are the multi-lane entrepreneur. I'm sure your choice was, you know, particularly important for you in terms of, you know, what your business and goal life looks like.
Yeah, so I didn't hear all of the clip. It kind of was going in and out, so I'm not totally sure everything that was said. But just to speak from a place of personal preference, and I think I even said this on our Live from the Cave morning roast, which comes on WGN and CW every Saturday morning at 4:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Set your DVR. I was the type of person that said, if I have a cheerleader, I can achieve anything. So my focus was to have somebody who supports me in the things that I do so that I can do them better. And I just happen to score a wife that actually does the things that I do, so she understands them even more, and we get to do them together. It's not just her cheering for me as I'm doing professional development seminars and speaking or writing and all of the things that I'm a part of. You know, she doesn't act, but for the most part, the businesses that I'm involved in, she plays an intricate part. So I lucked up in that regard. So I can't really speak to what he was saying totally. I'm just happy that I have who I have and that it works for me.
Well, let me ask you this before I move on. Prior to Mo, I mean, I would imagine you have been the dude you are for quite a long time. So do you have any experiences in your past where a woman's lack of support or her inability to understand the sacrifices that you have to make for what you're trying to do cost you know, you guys whatever potential there was?
I can't say that. I'm very cautious with picking. I've been very cautious with picking the women that I date seriously. If it's
we won't unpack what that means. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If it's been a relationship that was carnal in nature, then yes, some of those were like, well, you know, do you have to go? And I work from 9 to 5, and you spotty throughout the day, and you can't possibly be working at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I am, and I'll work on you after. So be patient. But those were different situations. But anybody that I've been extremely serious with, because I believe in having the tough conversations up front on spirituality, money. Y'all already know I asked for credit score, on the first date. Like, I need to pull out your Credit Karma app. I need to see that. If we gonna be anything serious, right? Joking, not really. So yeah, I didn't really, not in my adult years. And then if I go into, my teenage to 20s, then those don't really count.
Well, because I can say that I have encountered a number of women that at least were bothered by the attention that they felt some of my gifts garnered me. Right. Now that might not even be the reality, but it's their perception. Right. And so, much like the guy in the clip is saying, then that becomes something that you have to navigate for the potential of the relationship, which then makes it a sacrifice, because now you can't necessarily move the way you want to move, because you have to protect this based on what their perception, incorrect or not, is. Right. So I think that it can wear a lot of different hats. But I think that there is a lot of truth to what the brother is saying. It's just that there are a lot of ways to unpack what he's saying. Robert, what did you think?
I couldn't really hear what he was saying, so it was a little.
You got your hearing aids in, Robert?
Right. You guys are killing me. I thought I could hear.
It was kind of low, Sean, but I
Of course,
heard
you were playing it, Sean.
Yeah, right.
Sean had his boombox right here. Like, I can hear it. Y'all can't hear this?
All right, smart guys.
Yeah, I mean, so that I'm glad they came to my defense.
One thing that throws off most men from their purpose is women. And it's a hard balance, man, because we all want that attention, admiration, affection, adornment from women. But man, if you don't balance that shit out correctly, like it'll ruin your career. And
It
then
just
also,
dropped out again, Sean.
when you lose your focus, they stop.
Did it? It dropped out.
Yeah, it just goes down.
It dropped out.
Okay.
Thank you, Mel, because he didn't believe me. He thought I was talking about
don't
it.
believe you. No, you're not
Yeah.
somebody.
But Camille brought up a point in the viewing audience. She said that kind of check-in is someone who is not confident in what she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. What she had, Camille, what she has in the man, or what she has in terms of her own being equipped.
Hell, it could be both.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I've learned is that you have to find a partner that, and we talk about this all the time, but matches your energy, matches your desire, matches your goals. And until you find that partner, you're going to find those cracks in that relationship where they're going to look into your point. Sean, I never have your problem, Sean, because I don't have your gifts. I'm just a poor, simple Southern boy. So I don't worry about it. I'm not very popular. So I never had a woman get mad about my popularity like you do, But, you have people that feel like they have to compete with you because you're trying to accomplish things and they want to accomplish things. And that's not always what it is. I don't need an adversary. I need a partner. I need that person, my tambourine example from last show. I need you to play the tambourine when I'm leading, and when you're leading, I'm gonna play the hell out of the tambourine for you. I'm gonna be your band leader if you're out there out front.
Well, I'm glad the show is almost over, because what I'm getting ready to say is gonna piss some people off. But I think that also part of what the challenge is that for some women, not for all. I'm not saying all women.
He said all women, all of y'all, all y'all.
For some women, it's hard for them to not compete with the other things that are significant in you. You'd have to ask women. I don't.
I've not had that experience.
I have. Yeah, it's oftentimes it's a competition. And so everything is pitted against your love and willingness to sacrifice for the woman. And so then if you would rather do A, B, or C, then it's you would rather do this over me, as opposed to this is something that I'm committed to doing that just doesn't have anything to do with you. But if you rock with me, you will reap the benefit from this. Right.
But as a smart man once told me, you can't move forward trying to drag somebody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Yeah. So
And if they're going in a different direction, that's your sign that that's probably not the person.
That's
for
not
you.
your person.
And maturity is recognizing that early and being able to walk away and not walk back.
I mean, that's good in theory, and that's good in theory, and I 100% agree with you guys. But I also think that oftentimes you don't discover that until there's been an investment made already. And
No woman can cause you to.
Well, no, Robert. It takes the right circumstance, right? You might not find yourself in the right circumstance that reveals where the frailty is. You know, I remember I had been dating a lady for a while, and she knew that I was a professional for months, and she knew that I was a professional photographer, and we were at a picnic, and somebody asked about my photography and asked if they could see some of it, and so she was standing near enough to see the images that I was showing them. Mm-hmm. Now, there were no nude images that I was showing them, but there were some boudoir images in what I was showing them. And she was immediately uncomfortable. Now she was tactful enough to not share it until later. Mm-hmm. But she was, when we got back in the car, she was like, oh, I was so uncomfortable with, them looking at you. The fact that you are taking
that was one of the pictures.
That was not one of the pictures. Taking pictures of women that are hardly dressed, and my first thought was that's how I make my money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's bigger than your frailty about it. You know what I'm saying? This is how I make my money. It's no different than me singing a love song on stage. That's a racy love song. I'm gonna get off stage and I'm gonna come home to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's my reality in terms of knowing that does exist.
So when they threw their underwear at you, did you still have to explain that? I mean, I'm just asking for.
Yeah, that experience I have not had, and I don't think at this stage I'm gonna have that. So
the reason I asked you that question, Sean, is because I think sometimes, brothers,
our producer gets a little trigger happy with pictures. We apologize.
But it's always me, Bobbie. I'm always the butt.
Roger hasn't had his meds today, and
that was a good one.
But I think that I don't think that we invest enough time in the person that we're interested in to be able to see the various stages of that person before we make decisions.
Wait a minute, Robert. Funny you should say that, because you argue with me on a couple of shows, which is airing this Saturday, 4:30 for WGN and CW in Houston. We argued about marriage and marrying too soon. Now you're coming back saying, "Wait, would you take it?"
Well, hell, I've been married 3 times. I would think that there's something that I've learned.
Glenn, back on stuff I've said. That's all. If I said it, then
you said it.
Yeah,
I've learned. And it's a journey.
It's a journey.
Robert, my only problem, I understand what you're saying, man. I really do. My only pushback is that those things aren't rolled out methodically. Those things are usually discovered based on a circumstance. And the circumstance that reveals those frailties might not happen for a year, might not happen for 2 years. And so then you're invested before you realize that there's a frailty there. That could be a problem. So
that's why, as a relationship expert that I pretend to be on TV, I say men wait, learn a lot about them, learn what pisses them off. You need to see the woman mad,
right?
You need to know why she's mad, because it might be you. You actually may be the reason she's mad. So I'm not saying it's her.
Hey, Glenn, and do them like they do us. Date them all. That's my time.
Date them all, bro. Date them all, bro.
That's my time. Date them all.
Have you a hot boy summer.
Have
Winter,
you a hot
spring,
boy?
and fall.
Hey, man, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys hanging with me through my technical hangups this evening. Bobbie, you've been an amazing guest, man. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, man. Really quick, do we have time, Roger? Really quick, can you tell us where people can find you, support you, look you up?
Yes, smash-nichols.com. That's my website. Everything about me is on my website. Smash.
Pop that up if you can, Roger. Pop that up on the screen before we get out of here.
Smash-nichols.com.
Smash, what is it?
Smash-nichols.com.
Smash Nichols.
I knew you were going to say something about the smash part.
No. I was talking about the Nichols part. You got to go.
Smash-nichols.com.
Smash and Nichols. Oh, okay.
Smashed or
If you go to my website and look at my first podcast, Getting to Know Your Favorite First Cousin, the explanation of Smash Nichols is there.
Okay.
Like Mel says, is it smash in the past tense or smash in the current? Smash smashed
Smash ED.
Smash. Okay.
Nichols.com.
All right. You all got it.
One thing before we leave, I got to say congratulations to our producer, Keisha Rose, on her best-selling book. Well, she co-wrote it with Jamie Gill, Lionel.
You can't even have a slab of hope for it, did she? Okay.
Keisha Rose and Tommy Talley, but Faith, Failure, Success debuted at number 3 on the bestseller list in its category.
Yeah, my copy got delivered today. I wasn't able to pick it up, but I will be going.
She's our super producer. Not only does she smack us around, she writes.
She writes.
She multitasks.
And she models, and she does.
And they use my formula to be best-selling authors. Invoice coming.
Oh, here we go. Ideas and execution.
And she will smack women that try to mistreat the men in the cave too. No, I'm not gonna put that on. Anyway,
and Jamie.
Hey, I think we are back in 2 weeks, right? Am I correct? 2 weeks.
Well, Saturday we'll be on WGN NCW in Houston.
Saturday, 4:30 a.m. WGN in Chicago, CW channel 3839 in Houston, 4:30 live from the cave, the morning roast. And then we're back on this format in 2 weeks. So until then,
Saturday.
What'd you say?
So I need to get a haircut before Saturday.
All right, y'all. Until next time, it's been Live from the Cave for sure.
Right.